Yo, sorry about that. Oh man, make sure that when you get ready to do a live video that you got your your tech people online and you and you technically ready to go. So I apologize about that, man. I actually it was my fault, so I kicked the plug out. I humbly apologize, but I wanted to get back into it. So um, again, um, just want to make sure everybody understands and just talk about the topic tonight. Again, is making the right and the best decisions and proper preparation. And this is part two of this series. So forgive me. Let me just get back on track real fast in my thoughts. But um, was just talking about the importance of having an understanding and knowing what's going on as far as tuition fees and what all that looks like, what it all entails, and what your son or daughter is going to be offered. Far as finances when on the way to college, whether it's on a scholarship or whatever it may be, make sure that you fully understand that you are all the way in the know as far as what that particular college will be providing, what they won't be providing, because again, it's a very huge undertaking and expense to go to college during during this hour. So that's what I left off with. So I want to continue and finish talking about that. So I want to talk about Division One schools and Division One and Two and Three NAI schools, et cetera, when it comes down to what you will be offered and what that looks like, and again, why it's important for students to get A's. Because again, unless you're a silver spoon kid and your parents have money and you just have this ability to not worry about money for whatever reason, then phenomenal. You know what I mean? And you don't really have to worry about that. But if you're a student athlete and you're or a parent of a student athlete and you're looking to try to go to college on an athletic scholarship, it's important you know what that looks like. Okay. So real fast, there's approximately 346 Division One schools here in Arizona. You've got FBS schools, and you've also got FCS schools. So there's a culmination of those two that equal up that 346 Division One institutions here across in North America. So, for example, a smaller FCS school, for example, is a school like Northern Arizona University, et cetera. And a FBS school is more of a Power Five institution like ASU or Alabama or Oregon or University of Florida, whatever it would be. So those are examples of FBS schools. Those schools typically have more money, well-funded, have a lot of contracts and whatnot with corporations. So long dollars. So there's a lot more opportunity for your son or daughter to just get a lot more exposure, just have a more just a fun time in college. So there's a lot out there for them to do, et cetera. So those are Division One FBS schools. So with that said, those schools typically have enough money to offer full scholarships. So you get an opportunity to get a full D1 ride to any of those schools I mentioned. Man, kudos to you. I mean, I was one of those kids that were fortunate enough to get a full Division One scholarship because again, my mom wouldn't have had the opportunity to send me to school otherwise. So that's what that looks like. Division Two schools, approximately 314 Division Two schools across the country. Division Two schools do not offer full scholarship. They have what's called equivalency or equivalencies as far as scholarships are concerned. Again, you just do not get the full amount paid for at a Division Two school. So mom and dad will have to shell out some money for that, or you have to get loans, et cetera. But I can understand what that looks like. All right. So they typically work in tandem with the financial aid office to determine again how much money you will get. And again, there's a degree of subjectivity when it comes to that process. So just be aware of that. Again, know what you're getting, know what you qualify for, and if you haven't, go out and really try to apply for your grants and all that stuff early, because it's first come, first serve when it comes for getting your FAFSAs and all the scholarship and grant money out there. I'm telling you right now, do it early. If you know that's just something you're going to need, apply early, get it done, get your paperwork in as soon as possible, and the early bird gets the worm. Okay. Division 3 schools, no scholarships. Okay, no scholarships. Division 3 schools. Let me be very clear. Division 3 schools, very much is just really uh, more about academics. Yeah, they offer sports, but when it comes down to it, academics it typically is the focus because again, they're just not going to get those. They're just not going to get a whole bunch of student athletes that um, to have the opportunity to go Division 1 or Division 1 AA or two. Just again because it's the focus is more on academic and academic excellence. So understand what that looks like. That again, if you have an opportunity, if you got to go to a D3, as a student athlete, particularly as a football player, personally, I don't recommend it. I'm just going to be very honest with you. I do not recommend going to a Division 3 school as a student athlete, as a football player, trying to um, earn a scholarship or something like that, or any of that. My best suggestion is to go to junior college first. Why not? If you feel like you have the ability to, if you were shafted in some kind of way, quote unquote, and you feel like you got an opportunity to go to play at the next level, your aspirations are to play Division 1 FBS or FCS school. Go to junior college first. You never know what'll happen. The worst case scenario, that option is always available to you. But best case scenario, you ball out, you do your thing, you get good grades, and some of you students would be what's called a qualifier, which means that you did have good grades, but you just were not able to get a scholarship. So understand what that looks like, know that landscape, and understand that if you do go to junior college, that hey, it's going to be cheaper. You'll still have some opportunities. Scouts go out to Division 1 schools. The junior colleges and community colleges, and seek players that can come right in and play. They do. It is. I think that there's a big push. There won't be as much of a push here in Arizona because just in case some of you guys don't know, there will be no more community college football, junior college football in Maricopa County. I'm not sure if it's still going to be in Pima County or other counties, but Maricopa County, I know there will no longer be junior college football next year. So, that landscape has completely changed. So again, consider that, mom and dad, when you letting your son or daughter goof off and aren't being the parent. I know sometimes you get tired of me or irritated with me, talking about your parenting, but at the end of the day, I really don't care. It's important that we consider all these things when it comes down to getting these kids an education and getting them in on the path to success. So um, uh, it's not about anyone browbeating you or talking bad about you or trying to tell you how to parent. I promise you, and I'm doing that. But I just want to bring these to your attention, and then maybe it'll change all of our behaviors so we could really get. Again, it's all about the kids. It's not about adults, or trying to be in some position of power. Nothing like that. But it's just all about information and putting us on the right path to and keeping us all on the path to help these young men and women get to the next level and have some success. Okay. So that's the deal about that. All right. So I want to talk about recruiting services. Get into this a little bit because I've been seeing a lot of it on Twitter. I see it on Facebook. I see it. This is not to bash anybody. I don't want to call names out because people always think that you're throwing rocks at them. This is just information, man. This is information that's important to everybody. It's not about, anybody's company. We dealing with lives of kids and individuals and families and things like that. So it's, don't take this personal. Like, somebody got a bone to pick with you about, your company or your service. No, it's not about that. But I think it's just still important that the information is put out there, and then people can do what they want. They'll go find out and see what's going on, but let them do that. But I think the information still needs to be put forth. And again, we have this thing in this world now called Google. We don't no longer have to run to a library and spend 3 or 4 hours there looking up information. The world is at our fingertips now, you guys, with computers and just all these informational forms that right at our fingertips. So we should take advantage of it. So to talk about, let me just get on these recruiting services. So one of the biggest entities, recruiting services for student athletes across the country is a company called NCSA. Please, I highly encourage you, go look it up. Go research NCSA and look it up and see what they do, and just check it out for yourself, okay? As I was researching earlier, I was just going down trying to find information, and as I've been researching about NCSA, hey, at the end of the day, it is a company. It is a company that is seeking to make money, and it's big time. Let me tell you, some of the memberships for NCSA memberships start from $800 all the way up to about $3,000 plus dollars. Okay. Let me explain to you what NCSA is basically. So what NCSA is, it's a recruiting service that is that says that what they do is basically it helps to get your son or daughter recruited to college and puts them out there for scholarships. If you go look at the reviews, and again, go check it out. Okay. Again, go look for yourself. They just don't have a whole lot of reviews, good reviews, I should say. And a lot of parents that I've spoken with, they just have had a bad experience with NCSA, and it is a big, big money maker. All right. But again, I'm not going to say anything negative about it. I'm just going to encourage you to go look up what NCSA is. And then when you get a phone call from NCSA because you've been putting on Twitter and Facebook about how good of a football player your son is, that's how they go find this information, you guys. Make a mistake about it. I've said this before. Some parents love to believe, oh, my baby, he's an All-American. He's a 7th, 8th grade All-American. Listen, your son, there's no such thing, man. There's no criteria to determine whether your son is an All-American youth football player. He may be a heck of a heck of a youth football player, but stop it. Mom, I understand. Give it to your sons real, man. Give it to them real. No, man, quit playing games and letting these people play games and manipulate you for money. It's just not cool. You sometimes I think parents, y'all seem to think that somebody's hating or trying to put the light out on your son. No, because at the end of the day, you got to understand how many more of these kids are considered All-Americans. They just send this out to 1,000 kids, and guess what? You're going to have, maybe if you get a third of the bites, so hey, them 300 kids, let's send them invites. And out of them 300 kids, maybe 40 or 50 will come, maybe less. But at the end of the day, that's what happens. They have web crawlers and they get information. They gather information. Your information, I don't know if you understand, but your information is sold. Facebook and all these social platforms sell your email address and your information. They go look at it and research it and find out exactly who you are, who your son is. So they say, okay, well, Mrs. Johnson looks like little Timmy. He's a heck of a football player. He's got an invite. He's been selected as an All-American to go to this game. Stop. It's not how it works. Your son he may be a good player, but give him the real. Quit playing games. Quit spending excessive amounts of money and making people rich, all to make him or yourself feel good. It's not worth it. Make him feel good by getting him ready for high school and getting him ready to take care of his business academically. Make him feel good about that. But don't make him feel about getting some fake offer or some fake information about a quote-unquote all-star game that, again, he's just not that guy. He's a good player, but he's not so superior than all the rest of the thousands and thousands of kids who the invite was sent out to. So let's cut that out. Quit doing him an injustice in doing that, okay? So NCSA, back on them. NCSA, again, is going to help you get your kid quote unquote recognized in by college coaches and to help get his film to college coaches. I'm not going to say in all the cases that it doesn't work, but in some cases it does. It was has been from what I understand and what I've looked up and listened to and researched is it's not a lot of kids that get invites because of something that somebody at NCSA sent out. I had a parent out at a school in the East Valley out at Perry High School tell me it was NCSA did a form or a presentation out at Perry High School, said it was 70 plus parents at the NCSA meeting. 70 plus. So if you do an average, again, average of about 8,000 to of about 3,000, we're right at about $1,100 on an average of 70 parents. Man, do the math. That's $70,000 plus off the chain for nothing. Mom and dad, you can do this yourself. Learn how to do it. Again, we're in the technology age, in the information age. Got all these forms. Learn how to reach out to coaches. Very simple process. So how can you do it? Okay. This is some of the steps that I would take and what this looks like. All right. How you do this is first find out, one of my biggest things is first find out how active his high school coach is on Twitter. I said it before last week. Twitter is the quintessential tool for recruiting and to help get your son exposure. Most of the college coaches are on Twitter. Find out, see how active that your coach is, and look at it. And and if he's not very active, you may want to reconsider that school or have a conversation with that coach and just see what things what needs to change. Okay, and checking out that Twitter, look and see, do they actually push their program or do they push their kids? Okay. Shout out to one instance today, was sent to me. Coach Kerry Taylor here in Arizona over at Arcadia High School, really pushing his quarterback. Feels like he's his quarterback's his last hurrah. Said the kid has measurables. He's a good quarterback. Really hasn't been on the radar, but Kerry's going to bat for him. I know Kerry does a whole bunch of pushing his program. But at the end of the day, he's got to push his kids, and I think it's a phenomenal gesture for Kerry to do that, to put his neck out for this young man. Obviously, he thinks he's got the potential and the skill set to play at the next level, so he's doing it. But again, see if the program is pushing actually just more of their program. And if they're not pushing kids out like that on social media, saying, "Hey, I know, for example, out here, it started out west." At Desert Edge, they started doing something called Know Your Scorpions. Man, a few weeks later, I seen Westview High School adopt that same type of situation. Hey, it's good. Get the kids out there. The program ain't nothing without the kids. Get the kids out there. So, kudos to Desert Edge and also all the other programs, Kerry, that are pushing the kids. And I think that's where it needs to be. I think it's very important. Can't just be about the program, coaches. Go out on the limb for your kids. They the one that make your program. Shout out to coaches over at Westview. Forgive me, but I can't remember his name. But shout out to you guys for doing that. I think it's important. You got to do it. Okay. Also, go look at the success rate for getting kids to college at that particular school. That's another thing I would do. Go see how busy they've been, how their wins and losses. Go check the temperature of the practice. Go talk to the parents. Find out. Go ask some of the kids. See where they're going. See where the direction is going. These is all valid questions that you should ask and see what it looks like. Again, just get a somewhat synopsis of the landscape. See if you want to have your son go there or stay there. Okay, but this is how you're going to determine, the recruiting process. How that looks. in your evaluation about the steps that you should take to help your son get recruited. And if a lot of this stuff is missing, or the things that should be in place aren't, well, you know what to do. You have to make an educated decision for yourself and your child, and keep it in the best interest of him. But because it's not about these adults with egos. So again, check into all that stuff. Okay. If you're looking to get your son recruited, again, don't have to go through NCSA or any other type of recruiting service to get his name out there. You don't, man. People are making money off your ignorance. And again, with respect to everybody and anybody, I don't care if it's a penny. If it might be a penny too much if this is something that you can do. But if you don't feel like doing it, or you just don't have the time to do it, people will make money off that. So, but in my humble opinion, I don't think it's too much to do with a little research. Now, some of the other things that you need to do, which may be a little bit more costly, but not necessarily, is go visit the school. Go up to ASU, go up to Ottawa, go to Arizona Christian, go to University of Arizona, go to NAU, go to the football program and ask to speak to somebody, ask to speak to the coach and say, hey, I got a son here. That's a heck of a football player, has kind of been under the radar. Go see if you can talk to somebody. Somebody will make time. Somebody has to make time. But I would encourage you, before you go, is absolutely make sure that you have a full understanding and you've gone through the overall process of evaluating your son or your daughter, so you don't look silly. Because if you go into these programs and and again, your son's just not that player, hey man, it's a waste of time, and you leave with egg on your face. Because again, I think that they'll be honest with you to a degree. A lot of times these coaches don't want to be all the way honest, but they'll be honest with you to a degree. I really think that they should. They owe it to you. So email them, get online. You can easily find email addresses online to coaches. Send them your film. Hey, it's a shot in the dark, but that's what NCSA does. They're going to send you film. They're going to send your film out. A lot of them don't have personal relationships. So guess what? They're going to try to get them. Also, call them. And at the end of the day, call them. See what's going on. Pick up a phone. Closed mouth don't get fed. But like I said, most of all, don't oversell your son. Don't oversell your daughter. Do not oversell them, man. If they haven't done anything, don't go in there like they have. Let him or her, get some varsity film or some film that you're going to be proud of happy to send off. If you don't know what that looks like, ask somebody to evaluate it that you trust, that has some knowledge about it. Just send it over to them. Let them check it out and see what they think. Okay. Again, be objective. Take your dad hat off, take your mom hat off, and we know that's your baby. But at the end of the day, make sure that you're objective about it. All right, and please don't be that parent. Okay, let me be very clear about what I mean when I say don't be that parent. Let me help you guys understand this. Talking to a D1 coach, listen. Do not be the pushy parent, because here's the thing: they're going to recruit you, and the whole process involves you and your child. So if they see that you're that parent that's, always pushing little junior, or getting indignant about, little junior, and, just trying to figure out where, really pushing them to be this player that they're not. Hey, guess what? I promise you, recruiters look at that. They will evaluate that and say, hey, well, man, we really just don't want to be involved with mom or dad, because if we got to deal with this for the next 4 years, hey, we're going to be in trouble. So we'll pass this kid. We'll go to check on somebody else. Okay. So that's what I mean when I say don't be that parent. All right. And that's on that. Varsity film matters. Okay. Let me be very clear about that. Varsity film matters. I hear people say, "Oh man, well, there's some people that didn't get invited. There's some, uh, didn't, some kids got offers, and some kids that had varsity film, and some didn't that got offers." Yeah, that's true. But again, that's a slippery slope, and you really can't get into that so much because, again, you're not the evaluator, you're not the recruiter, right? But you got to understand, again, varsity film matters, and if that one particular kid who didn't have varsity film, if he's some type of freak or an anomaly that they look at him and say, "Hey, man, he's going to be a heck of a player," they offer him a scholarship. Hey, that's their business, it's their money, is their institution. They have the right to do that. But at the end of the day, varsity film matters the most. And most kids will get offered off varsity film. All right. So I'm going to be very clear about that. Um, Freshman film, youth film, workout film, 7-on-7 film doesn't hold much credence with the recruiters. So understand it just doesn't. Maybe one day it will, but right now it doesn't. They just really don't give a damn about those things. They want to see varsity film. They want to look at your huddle, and how you perform on Friday night. And if you perform well on Friday night as a high school football player, you got good speed and measurables, which isn't always the case. That you have to have good measurables with insane speed and strength, etc. You may still get offered to a big time program. It's not necessary. Kyler Murray, great example of that, but not always the case. But more time than not, those are the things that are held up for consideration. All right, for a Division I scholarship, to be very clear. That's roughly that. All right, I mean that's roughly that's a lot of the things I really wanted to cover. Again, I'm sorry earlier about the I got unplugged, but I really apologize about that. But I just pretty much picked up where I left, and I hope the information was valuable to you. And I greatly appreciate you guys that took the time to log in and listen and watch. Okay, I really do. Couple things before I close out here. I just wanted to just talk about youth and more so mainly youth coaches. I wanted to chat with you guys real fast and just have just throw some things out there. And this is let me just speak first to the youth coaches, okay? I really believe there needs to be a big move for you guys to become teams. When I say you guys, I really believe there needs to be a big move for you guys to become more independent of these damn leagues. It's really a shame that grown men can't really organize so they don't have to pay these league fees and money to join a league. It really doesn't make sense. All it does is takes maybe one or two guys out of the bunch to go get talk to a local high school, get some insurance, and hold football games at these schools and just get some referees for $20 an hour, what they cost, man. I really think that it's time that we gotta do better, man. These people are charging us thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and I say we. I mean this. I'm part of the family. I really think that we got to get it together. We got to get our paperwork together. If that means you got to go out and get your nonprofit status or whatever, however that looks, so that you can become independent of these leagues. I really encourage you guys to do that. Now, for example, the Arizona Champions with Black Monroe, Frankie, them dudes, man, they was able to go out of town. There's a lot of teams. You can go out of town now and play teams, man. I even think you could go down to Florida. You can figure it out how to get to Florida and go play some nationally ranked teams. Just schedule nationally ranked teams. You don't have to have. My thing of it is, if you want to necessarily have the ring that says national champion, then I understand that. But at the end of the day, if you don't necessarily, there's no necessarily, you got to have that ring. Just go play the baddest team in the nation, line up the game, maybe 3 or 4 games of some of the toughest 4 teams, find out who they are, and just line it up and play. And then, hey, you can make your own national championship ring after the winner comes out of those games. But I'm telling y'all, man, we got to get out of these. We got to get out of these leagues, man. We really got to get out of these leagues, man. These leagues are costing way too much money. It's silly, and I just don't think they're necessary anymore. We got to gain independence, man. And this don't have much to do with it. But I have to bring it up. I tried to go out to a game to see some of the kids on Saturday. Man, adult drama with somebody that I don't even know. I got stopped at the gate over something that happened last fall, and some that I have no control over. But this one particular person has a beef with me. But I got stopped at the gate, and I wanted to go see some of the kids that I know play this past Saturday. Couldn't do it because adult drama. They have say-so over the field. So lo and behold, I got stopped at the gate. I thought it was the dumbest thing in the world. Still don't know why. No idea why. Why somebody would have a grievance with me. I didn't do nothing to nobody. But at the end of the day, it's got to stop. I'm telling you, man. It's unreal and asinine for these fees to be getting paid to these leagues. And I'm telling you, I'm gonna help shut y'all down. I promise you. I'm gonna shut you guys down. I promise you. Just give me a little bit of time. It's coming to a halt. Because I'll be that guy to get everything fixed and managed. And we ain't gonna be playing in these leagues no more. So I'm telling you right now. So since you want to be slick and be silly, I'm gonna get you shut down. Because I already know at the end of the day, it's just about pooling the resources, having people, and doing right by these kids and these families. So since we want to be silly, just stay tuned, okay? Because I don't believe no stretch of the imagination that we ought to be at this stage where games are easily set up. Teams could easily come together and say, hey, just get a schedule together of all the coaches. That's all it takes. Don't nobody need to sit around and dictate the schedule. It's simple things to do. Okay. We got to create, one of the other reasons too, man, is we got to create more of a competitive process for these kids. If you don't have these leagues and these entities that are these governing bodies that say, oh man, well, my son has to play or whatever it would be. Listen, the bottom line is parents have to be made to feel like, and kids have to understand that this is an opportunity. This isn't, something that you are indoctrinated to do, or something that, it's an opportunity at the end of the day. And it's got to be looked at that way. Now, it's going to create more of a competitive environment when kids are approach it that way, and I think it's going to be more beneficial. It's got to be so that comes with the move to be independent. All right, got to alleviate these leagues and all this oversight, and give more stuff to the kids. If we are independent and we got our information and our paperwork right, guess what, man? We can give these kids shoes, we can give them gym bags and whatever it would be, more swag or whatever it would be for winning the games or participating in these tournaments, etc. At the end of the day, that's what we'll be able to do if we gain more independence, okay, with these leagues and so forth and so on. So let's work towards that, man. You guys, I promise you, we can do it. But, we just have to put our heads together, and I don't think it takes a whole lot of money. And in fact, it's going to take a considerably less amount of money. We won't have to ask the parents to come out of their pocket for, if anything. And guess what? It's going to be more competitive because, Mom, your son, he just doesn't automatically get on the team because you pay some money, or he doesn't automatically play because you paid some money. not how it goes. It's the dog eat dog world, and you still have to keep competitiveness at the forefront, especially when it comes to sports. And that's just how the world operates. Only the strong survive. Is how it is. It's how it's always been. It's how it's always will be. Okay, so let's just keep that in mind. And with that said, I highly encourage you. I've did some research and checking before just because of the Maximum Potential Foundation. Pardon me. Just because of the Maximum Potential Foundation, grants are coming available now through going to become available through many different avenues. But if you have a youth team, go ahead to USA Football, get registered, because that is you pretty much have to go through USA Football to become available to receive grants, to be eligible for any of that kind of stuff or any type of giveaways through these, football, like Rite Aid, for example. I know they have a grant. USA Football itself has a grant, but go on, register as soon as possible so that you are eligible for those grants. All right, because you have to be certified through USA Football to receive them. So I highly encourage you to do that. All right, getting down to the bottom, almost done here. Mom and dad, don't allow your son to veg this summer. Make sure he or she is working. Make sure that they're taking care of their business, being accountable for their time, and that their goals and aspirations line up with their activity. So just don't let them veg out this summer and just sit around and play video games and do what they want to do. Nope, there's no off season. It's going to take a lot of work. Make sure that he's training or she's training hard and conditioning. And as I've always said before, inspect what you expect. Okay. I really encourage you to do that. Inspect what you expect. All right. Last week or the last couple of weeks, I want to, kind of almost finish with this thing right here. Just understand, you guys, just as mentors and coaches and parents, like, we have to constantly motivate. We got to constantly manage, and we have to constantly monitor the activity of the youth, that we can help them be successful. Typically, young people take the path of least resistance when it comes to a lot of things. But at the end of the day, if we have, goals and whatnot set for them, I promise you, we really got to make sure that we are constantly keep them motivated. We have to manage them, and we got to make sure that we monitor. Okay. We got to make sure that we monitor their activity. All right. Then it just takes a little bit more energy and time, but please understand it's going to be more beneficial to that child and to you over the long run. Okay. Let's let that become a practice that we all, when it comes to these young student athletes, that we all embrace, and that we can help them really become, again, better. Okay. So with that said, thank you so very much. I ask that you please share this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube station now, the Maximum Potential Foundation on YouTube. Please subscribe to it. Please ask other people to subscribe to it. Because that's what we're going to be doing these videos here from here on out. Okay. And then please also invite others to do that as well. Okay. Please like us on Facebook. Again, at Facebook, we're at facebook.com/the Max P Foundation. We're also on Twitter. You can look me up. I'm Max P Coach E at Twitter. And then we also have on Twitter, we're Max P Foundation. So there's not but it's Max P Foundation on Twitter. All right. So thank you very much for watching this. And I greatly appreciate all you guys for tuning in. Please like and share it. Forgive me earlier for the just the mishap with the the cutoff of the stream, but I greatly appreciate all you guys' patience and support. All right. Talk to you soon, and bless you. Talk to you.